He's on the side of me, okay? And he's smoking this silly smoke. All I smell is marijuana on the other side. And he was so dumb. He used to try to hide this with cologne when I'm connected with him. There's a soul that's here, that's coming through, that's telling me if there was questions over suicide or if there was an addiction involved.
I think that's my boyfriend.
I believe it is. So first of all, he's been trying to reach you. This was just a recent passing when I'm connecting with him.
Yeah.
How long ago did he pass?
4 months.
That would be why. I always know when it's a recent passing because they don't communicate like older souls. Is that sometimes they're very aggressive and pushy. And he was here right on the side of me saying, I have to come through. I have to come through. And he keeps saying to me, I didn't mean to do this. I didn't mean to do this. So first of all, I have to tell you, your boyfriend is here. I first of all have to prepare you because this is a very emotional reading when I'm connecting with him. Because I know that you knew that he was having major issues here in this world. I know that you knew he was having anxiety. I know that you knew that he was depressed. And I also know at the same time that you were trying to help him as best you could here in this world. He's telling me I don't want her to feel responsible because he keeps whispering about survivor's guilt in my ear. And he tells me that since his passing, that you keep feeling that for some reason this was your fault and you should have known that this was going to happen. He tells me, Matt, please tell her that I'm here to set the record clear. He's being so aggressive with me right now. And he's doing this for one reason. He's doing this for you. Because he's saying to me, and it's very rare that a spirit does this. He goes, Matt, you tell her exactly what I'm saying. He goes, and I need you to tell her exactly word for word. He says, what I'm going to tell you. And he says, because I need her to believe this. And he just told me, he goes, Matt, you need to let her know that these problems that I had came long before we were in a relationship with one another. He tells me just like this. He goes, Matt, when I met her, I was broken. He tells me, he says to me, I had issues with my anxiety. I had issues with my moods. He says, I was depressed. And she was like the light at the end of the tunnel. He says, when I met her, he says, I told her every single day when we first met how much she changed my life and how happy I was with her. And Matt, I gotta be honest with you. He says, when I first met her, I couldn't believe that there was a person like this for me. He says, because you allowed him to be happy. You didn't judge him. You embraced him with open arms. And it wasn't just you, it was your family as well. And he wants to thank you and your family for all that you had done for him. And is this your mom? First of all, can I please tell you that he's stepping forward for you as well? Because I know how upset you are with him. And I know that you're feeling so upset because you have to watch your daughter go through so much pain every single day. And more importantly, she did nothing but try to help him here in this world. But he says to me, Matt, you thought as his girlfriend that you could have fixed him here in this world. But he's telling me he was lying to you. I'm going to be honest with you. In the beginning, you could have, and you did. But there was something else that was here. Because, and correct me if I'm wrong, because he's telling me, he shows me the two of you being together and loving one another and having fun and all of these things that you used to do, because he talks about this love of music that the two of you had. He tells me the two of you were very artsy with one another here in this world, because he shows me like paintings and drawings and these things that the two of you used to look at.
I have his paintings in my room. We did paintings together.
He tells me. But then all of a sudden there was this change with him. And it's like, no matter what you did, you couldn't reach him. Do you know he's telling me that the reason why you couldn't get through to him, the reason why you couldn't reach him was because of the fact that there were other things involved. There were drugs involved in his passing. So no matter what you did, no matter if you took his head and you shook it, there was no way that you were going to get through to him because there was that block that was there. He was taking things and doing things that you didn't know about until after he died. Now listen, I know that you knew that he messed around with things here in this world, because when I'm here with him, he's on the side of me, okay? And he's smoking this silly smoke. All I smell is marijuana on the other side when I'm connected with him. And he reeks of it. And he was so dumb that he used to try to hide this with cologne when I'm connected with him. I keep smelling him with all of this. You know what's so funny? You're gonna think I'm crazy, but I tell you everything that he's telling me. He's on the side of me saying to me, Matt, I didn't think anybody knew I smoked weed, he goes to me. And I go, are you kidding me? He's got the Adidas, you know, how do you say the Adidas? I say Adidas, but the Adidas shirt on with the weed symbol.
She has this thing with a big weed symbol like on her ceiling in her bedroom.
Shut the hell up. That's crazy. Because he goes to me, Matt, I didn't think anybody knew. I go, didn't think anybody knew. You're representing it. It's like a freaking flag. So please know that that's his way of acknowledging that, you know, you knew that he was into those things here in this world, but you didn't know how bad it had gotten. And he kept that away from you. And that's one of the things that I need you to know, because I'm going to be honest with you. Okay. And this is a really hard message to deliver. And that is that he tells me that he loved you unconditionally here in this world. He did. He says, but at the same time, Matt, I was very selfish. He says, and I didn't give her what she needed. She was always giving to me, giving to me, giving to me, doing for me. He says she worried about me every single day, to the point where sometimes you lost out on your friends. You lost out on leaving your house. You lost out on doing all of these things because you didn't want to leave him. And I'm going to tell you something that you're not going to like. You're going to hate me for it. But at the end of the day, you know, you pay me to tell you the truth, to deliver what spirit has me say. So I hope you're not going to be mad at what I have to tell you.
I could never hate you, Matt.
Well, listen, I hope so. I hope not. Because some people get very mad, but I know it's what's going to help you to heal, because he's telling me this. And he says to me, Matt, please tell her that I didn't deserve her. He says, and please tell her there is somebody out there for her. He says, someone that's going to love her. He says, and give to her more than I ever could here in this world. And I don't want her to block her life. And I don't want her to stop her life because she had this bad experience with me. He says, did we love one another? Absolutely. He says, but I would have never been able to be the person that you need in your life, meaning somebody that is going to be a husband to you, somebody that's going to have a family with you, someone that's going to be able to take care of you, someone that's going to be able to hold down a job, someone that you're going to be able to grow old with. He says, I could never be that person. So the one thing that he wants to let you know is this, because he hears you calling him your soulmate all the time and saying that we were soulmates, we were soulmates. And I'm going to be very, very honest with you. From what he's telling me, he says, Matt, we loved one another. He says, but her soulmate is still meant to be found. And that's something that I need you to know, because I know that that hurts. And I feel the pain just telling you that, because I know that that's not what you want to hear. But at the same time, he's telling me, will he always love you? Absolutely. Is he there and watching over you? Absolutely. So one day you pass, he'll be there. You'll always feel him. He'll always be a part of you. But he needs you to know this, because he also sees you holding yourself back. And he doesn't want you to stop yourself from loving again because of that chapter that you had with him. Because at the end of the day, if there was one person that could save him from death here in this world, you were the last hope. Because before he met you, he's being very honest with me. He actually thought about doing this before. He thought about suicide. He had all these thoughts, he's telling me. So know that you came in and you showed him that love was possible. You are what he needed in his life at that time to be able to start to heal. And he did. He healed for a little bit. But at the end of the day, you know, you can't change a person's life, solely you. It's going to be on both sides. And you were there to help him. You were there to save him. And it was up to him to do the rest of the work, and he didn't. So he's coming through for one reason, because he needs, and he's hitting me over the head, like literally making me tell you all these things, because he needs you. The moment that this reading ends, he needs you to know without a doubt that you are not responsible. And he needs you to know without a doubt that he's okay, that he's at peace, and that he's back within his right mind. So please know that his love for you is eternal, and he knows how much you love him as well. He says, but Matt, I love her too much to watch her suffer here in this world. I love her too much to see her be alone. He says, so the same way that he had to work on his life, he tells me that there's a lot that you have to do. And I'm going to tell you, he's giving me this checklist. He's telling me, Matt, I want her to reconnect with her old friends. He says, I want her to get her old life back. He's telling me this. He says, and I want you to get back to your dreams. And listen, doesn't mean it has to start tomorrow. You're in grief. I can feel the grief that you're going through. Listen, you were with them for a long time. That grief and that pain is going to sit with you for a little while. You know, it's not going to be something that you have to do. But I will tell you, this is something that you're always going to remember. And I know that anytime that you're feeling that grief or that pain, you're going to think back to this reading of what he told you today. I will be honest with you. He shows me later on in the future, I do see a ring being put on your finger. So when I see that, that means that you will be able to restart your life in the best way possible. And it's not because he's telling you to, it's because at that moment, you're going to be healed and you're going to want to. Like I says, I know that these are not things that you wanted to hear, but I have to tell you what he's telling me. And he's telling this for one reason, because he wants to thank you for being the angel that you were within his life. So doesn't mean you take his pictures down, doesn't mean that you do anything different in terms of the way that you miss him and love him. It just means that the only thing that you change is you and the way that you navigate through life. All right. I really hope that this helped you.